Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, can I go a story titled, Am I the A-hole? My ex-fiancée tried to get my wife to cheat on me. And a shout out to Joseph for sending me this story. And guys, this story is all about a guy, I think around 31 years old. He's married for a few years now. And long story short, like in the title says, his ex-fiancée from college, who he dumped because she's obviously a lowlife, has come back into his life, weaseled her way in, and has been trying to get his current wife to cheat on him and screw up the marriage. No joke. And you're thinking, how could this guy's wife be friends with his ex-fiancée who's trouble? Well, you're going to see how that whole thing plays out. And that'd be a good one to go over here, guys. A classic stalker type of story here. And how you guys got to be careful. Your relationship guys got to be careful, because there are gals out there that you may have, with good reason, broken up with and moved on with your life, and they haven't gotten over it yet. They haven't gotten over you or gotten over the fact that you dumped them, and they try to ruin your current situations, girlfriend, fiance, wife, whatever. And you have to handle it accordingly. And if your current girlfriend or wife doesn't believe you and believes the crazy ex over you, then I'll tell you everything you need to know. So it starts off. He says, I think my ex-fiancée Jess, short for Jessica, shocker, might have tried to get my wife Olivia drunk and cheat on me. My wife thinks I'm overreacting and overthinking the whole situation. Can someone tell me if I would be an a-hole to ask Olivia to stop being friends with Jessica immediately? No. For context, Jess and I started dating during the sophomore year of our college. We met through mutual friends and connected instantly. She was charming and outgoing and made friends instantly everywhere she went. Translation, she is in her prime in college. She's good looking, good body, so of course she made friends everywhere she went. You neglected to mention they're all probably male friends. I am more shy and nerdy, but I enjoyed going out to parties with her. We got engaged on our graduation day as both families were attending. Smack! Are you nuts? You're there 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, and you get engaged. That's ridiculous. I got a job in a big tech company right after college, and Jess moved in with me while looking for jobs. Here we go. She knew who she's getting with. Job at a big tech company. So the odds are his starting salary and benefits were probably not too shabby. That is when the relationship started going downhill. Oh, imagine that. After you got the job and you got engaged. That ring on her finger, that engagement ring, showed her, this guy ain't going anywhere. Now things are going downhill. Jess was an art major and had trouble finding a stable job. It's usually how it goes until they take those art skills into something like graphic design or something like that. She did a bunch of freelance work and mostly work from home. I was overwhelmed with work. She always wanted to go out to bars and clubs, and I wanted to rest in the evening after 10 to 12 hours of work. I was okay with her going out with friends alone, and I would sometimes tag along the weekend. So, this guy's working his tail off because he's the new guy, he's the rookie. That's usually how it works. Building his career, and she's not working. She's living for free at home and wants to go out all the time. This, gentleman, is why in the beginning I tell you all the time, avoid the very serious relationships early on, because what you do in your teens and 20s really determine how the rest of your life goes. So you need to focus on your school or getting your whatever certification or mastering a trade in your late teens, early 20s. And then once you start your career, busting your tail to establish yourself. If you're practically married that early on, it's going to get in the way. Right here. And a lot of people don't get that. It bothered me that she was still in her party girl phase. Bro, you should not ever gotten involved with a party girl, whether it was in college as a girlfriend or as a future wife. No. Yeah, smack. Forgot to smack his ass. Not smacking his ass, smack him in the face. You know what I meant. Party girl phase. She complained that I was becoming boring and should enjoy my early 20s before we settled down. Right there. You're not compatible. Getting boring. You're on your grind, motherfucker. Why do you think she's with you? You're boring. Meanwhile, she doesn't have to work and you can provide a lifestyle for her. She's giving you shit about that. And then she'd be giving you shit and you weren't making enough money for her. The 20s is for the grind. Anybody doesn't understand that, you're not compatible with. I was also not happy with the friends she hung out with, as there was a lot of drinking and drug use. You're with a gal that regularly does drugs, Smack! And party girl face. Are you out of your mind? But now we know what's going on here. He was the shy, nerdy guy, and he got with the pretty girl that a lot of guys wanted. He thought he had it made like the movie said. She's probably effing other dudes behind the scenes left and right. Even when I went out with her friends, she would be extremely flirty with guys in her friend group. Her excuse was always that she gets flirty when she's drunk or she was just joking. Bullshit, she's not joking. Right there, right in front of you, absolute disrespect. What does that say? This guy should break up with her immediately, and, well, you'll see he does. I had enough and decided to call off the engagement after 2 years, as we were just different people at that point. Good, bro. You've redeemed yourself. A lot of guys would have done this. The breakup was messy, and she kept trying to get me back for almost a year. Sure, it wasn't because she loved you, it's because you were a great provider. Now she has to start over and find a new sucker. There were some incidences where Jess may not have acted in her best judgment, and I blocked her from all my social media. Oh, how interesting. Do tell. I did not want to deal with the drama and wanted to move on. I also got transferred to another town around that time and never heard from Jess again. You didn't hear from her again because she found another sucker. That's what happened. This is when I started dating my wife, Olivia. My wife was the exact opposite of Jess. She was very soft-spoken and a homebody like me. Good, bro. Somebody compatible. She knew I was engaged before. We dated for 3 years and happily married for 2 years now. Too soon, man. Too soon. However, one of the sticking points we always had was my Thursday nights. 3 of my closest college friends and I now scattered all across the country, and we generally play a video game together on Thursday evenings since our college days. Olivia complained that she gets bored during that time. Oh, tell her to kiss your ass. You and your best buddies split. Thursday nights, you gather for a few hours playing video games, whatever. That's your way to, kind of hang out, if you will. It is what it is in the modern world. She can find something to do, God forbid, for a few hours on Thursday nights. It's not like it's the fucking weekend on Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. Okay? For God's sake, she can watch Netflix or something, or catch up on the phone with her family or whatever. God's sakes. About 6 months ago, Olivia told me she got a Facebook invite for a group where they had painting and wine nights on Thursdays. It was mostly 8 to 10 women who got together at someone's house and spent the evening painting, drinking wine, and gossiping. According to Olivia, it was just a few housewives and divorcees, and they welcomed her. One of the women's names was Jess, but I did not think much of it. So, here's the question I have. How they moved to a new town, and obviously she's a little lonely. How did she suddenly get invited to this group? She must have known somebody in the group somehow, or somehow attended something that maybe she went to a favorite wine shop or painting supply store and joined the mailing list or something, and somehow this happened. It's still a little strange here that she just joined this group, but fair enough. 2 weeks ago, Olivia told me it was Jess's birthday and they wanted to a ladies' night at the club. Olivia hates loud music, but Jess convinced her to come for dinner and some drinks. Meanwhile, this guy thinks this is just some random girl in the group named Jess, not obviously his ex. On that night, I got a call from Olivia at 10 p.m. asking if I could come pick her up. I could tell something was wrong and immediately left to pick her up. I went to the bar and went to pick up Olivia. I was shocked when I realized that her friend Jess was my ex-fiancée. This is not an accident, dude. This is some serious stalking. She's been paying attention because you remember he moved. She's been keeping tabs on you, and now she's back in your life, and she wants to sabotage you right there. And she's the one that obviously got in this group that reached out to your wife to come join us for painting nights and wine and gossip. She also looked surprised to see me there. What an actress. I was polite and said hello to everyone, but Olivia wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. What could be going wrong? After we went in the car, I told Olivia that Jess was my ex-fiancé, whom I had not seen for almost 7 years. Olivia was shocked to hear it, and she didn't know about it. It was crazy since I didn't even know she lived in the same city as us. Olivia told me that Jess was the one who started the painting group. She had divorced her husband 2 years ago and moved to our city for a fresh start. The only part I believe in that is that she may have been married. Hence, she left this guy alone. Found another sucker. Clearly didn't work out because this woman's not marriage material. And now she is going to get even with this guy. Start stalking him. Relocated. Formulated plan. and reached out to this chick. She probably, unknowingly, unbeknownst to this one, met her somewhere at the paint store or the wine store or something like that. I know, it seems fishy that how did she just suddenly reach out to this girl out of nowhere for on Facebook friend groups and stuff like that. There you go. It's clear as day if this story is true. The reason why she called me was because she was getting uncomfortable with the situation at the bar. Since Jess and one of the other women were single, they kept on encouraging guys hitting on them and inviting them to their table. Jess was trying to get everyone drunk and was asking Olivia to open up and have fun. She was constantly hyping up Olivia, the two guys who brought them a round of drinks. At this point, Olivia excused herself to go to the restroom and called me to pick her up. Okay, I want to believe that happened. But sometimes when these gals react that way is that they got drunk, kissed another guy, they're like, oh my God, and then they call their husbands. But I'm going to give Olivia the benefit of the doubt that this is not what she expected. Shocker, the single girls are trying to disrupt the married girls' lives. This is why married women ought to hang out with married women, and even then you got to be careful. This is why you don't have your girl and married women going out to the clubs and the bars and all that, behaving like single gals, because this type of shit can happen. I'm not happy with the situation, but I'm not mad at Olivia. I'm just uncomfortable with Olivia hanging out with Jess. I told Olivia about the same. Olivia told me that she was never going to put herself in the same situation again with Jess or anyone else. Also, this friend group is the only real social life she has since we are both in a completely new city. She does not want to stop going to her painting nights with her friends. Okay, then she can hang out with some of these other girls and not Jessica. But even then, that's questionable. Okay, fine, they're new to this city. She doesn't have any friends. He said she's more quiet and introverted. Okay, well, maybe it's time for her to, go out of her comfort zone. Maybe join some activity, shit. When I was in martial arts, a lot of women joined martial arts, made friends there, stuff like that. There are other activities that she could meet other people with. Who knows? But absolutely not hanging out with this woman. No fucking way. And this guy should be laying down the law about that, because this woman is trouble. And you can clearly see right then and there that she's trouble. She was trouble in their freaking relationship. That's why he broke up with her. I brought up the thought that Jess could be acting in malice, but Olivia told me she did not think Jess would know I was her husband, as Olivia never showed me my picture to anyone in the group. Oh, for God's sakes, don't be so naive, lady. She obviously has been paying attention to this guy, stalking him, seeing who his wife was, doing her homework. She also says it's been 7 years since we broke up, and Jess is a kind person, and I should not judge her based on one night when she was drunk. She still wants to stay friends with Jess. Oh, no. This is the same woman that called crying, come pick me up. I don't want to be here because she's trying to do this to me and get me to flirt with guys and whatever. But now she's saying basically she doesn't mean any harm. This woman barely knows this Jessica woman. This guy was engaged to her. He knows her character. A leopard doesn't change his spots. This guy needs to lay down the law. But does he? We'll see. On one hand, I do not want to separate Olivia with her friends, but my gut feeling is telling me something is off in the situation. Yeah, it is. Besides, it feels weird to have my ex be friends with my wife. Am I the a-hole to want Olivia to stop being friends with Jess because of my gut feeling, or should I just let it go as it's Olivia's call to make? Dude, really? No, you need to be a man and lay down the law. But this guy's clearly still the nerdy, shy type as he described himself in the beginning here. Clearly this is a guy that will finally do something when he's pushed too far, which is good, but you gotta lay down the law. And if Olivia doesn't like it, too bad. Or he can simply say this: look, Jess is trouble, something's going on here. You can do what you want to do, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you're going to hang out with Jess, we need to start really rethinking our marriage. That's what I'm going to do. End of story. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you not to hang out with her, but if you're going to hang out with her, make that choice. Well, I can't say that we're going to have much of a future. And you got to mean it. It's unfortunate you got to do that, but you got to mean it. Now the update. This is where things really get interesting. It says, I posted how my ex-fiancée tried to get my wife to cheat on me 3 months ago. Things were good since, but this last week has been crazy, and I wish my wife was not as naive to let Jess back in our lives. I really feel I need to help out what I can do at this point. For reference, I broke up with my ex-fiancée Jess 7 years ago, and I've been together with my wife for 5 years, married for 2. After the night of Jess's birthday, when she tried to get my wife drunk and flirt with strangers, I had a long conversation with my wife. I laid down why I was uncomfortable with her hanging out with Jess. My wife agreed with most of what I said, but she feels that enough time has passed by and we can let things go. No. Again, a leopard doesn't change his spots. And why do you think Jess suddenly magically moved to my city and is now trying to weasel her way in and draw a wedge between us? It's on purpose. Remember, guys, when oftentimes women are rejected, they either become obsessed with the guy or they become obsessed with revenge against the guy. She also talked to Jess and told her she had no idea about me and it's just one happy coincidence. Bullshit. Jess also insisted to my wife that she moved on with her life after a breakup, found love, and unfortunately the marriage did not last. Yeah, the marriage didn't last because obviously the guy saw Jessica's true colors, or maybe she got in married enough, got some resources, then divorced him. Who knows? But you can't trust a word she's saying. She told Olivia that maybe we could all go out for dinner together and clear out the issues. Yeah, sure. Jess also insisted that she was just having fun at the bar and apologized to my wife if her drunk behavior made her uncomfortable. This is the same type of behavior she had when she was with this guy 7 years ago. My wife asked me if it would be okay with their friendship as she has not found a social group in her new town for a long time and Jess seems like a changed person. Yeah, sure. She also told me that she would only meet with these women during her art night and not go on girls' nights or trips. I felt that as long as Olivia was comfortable, I should not have any reason to be worried. Even if she doesn't go on these girls' nights out and girls' trips and girls' vacations or whatever, still, she's still interacting with Jessica, and Jess has a plan. So we had dinner with Jess once, and Jess was very friendly. She told me about what happened in her marriage and how she is on her healing journey right now. Healing journey, huh? She also apologized to me for her behavior during our last few months together. Jess also now owns a business and works as a freelance artist and graphic designer. Pay attention to this part. Graphic designer. This is going to come into play. I also was gracious as we were just 23 and I harbored no ill feelings. My wife also started hosting art night at our place once a month or so, and I had to move into my office for my game nights. Last week, after the art night, Jess and one other lady hung back and we were all drinking wine and chatting. The other lady was asking questions about Jess and I, and Jess told her that it was old history, and I went no contact with Jess 4 years ago. That was the reason why she had no idea about Olivia. No contact 4 years ago. This guy has said he hasn't talked to her in 7 years. So he's saying one story and Jess is saying another. Notice that. Olivia looked at me and asked Jess, "You mean 7 years ago, right?" Jess said no, and that was when we broke up. However, we met every time I came back to my hometown. I thought she was drunk, so I corrected her again, that it was 7 years ago, and she was misremembering things. Jess said maybe, and we moved on. Right there you go. Jessica is skillfully planting seeds of doubt in Olivia's mind, saying, I haven't seen her for 4 years. And he's saying, I haven't seen her for 7 years. There's a problem here. The next day, Jess sent a bunch of photos to my wife of me and Jess hanging out. They were just innocent photos, like us having dinner at a music festival, working out, etc. The weirdest part is I had a few tattoos on my body that I got after I broke up with Jess. I also never owned the clothes the person in the photo was wearing. Even the photos were timestamped to 4 years ago, Christmas 2019. Olivia freaked out because we started dating in the summer of 2019. I did make a trip alone to my hometown in Christmas 2019. However, I never met Jess. She started asking me why I did not tell her about meeting Jess. I tried to tell her that these things never happened, but she does not believe me. So Jess, the graphic artist, graphic designer, whatever you want to call it, clearly messed around with pictures, Photoshop, Canva, who knows what it is, to make the pictures look like they're hanging out, time-stamped. You get the point. All on purpose. Probably did it years ago, or who knows. She also called Jess, and Jess told her that we met because I was back in town. However, we were just platonic at that point, and it's not what my wife is thinking. I confronted Jess and she told me that I'm stupid to not tell Olivia about meeting her, and also not telling her about Olivia. She says that I told her I'm still single. What a load of crap. See? She deliberately did this all on purpose to split you guys apart. Olivia is very angry at me. She's not believing a word I'm saying. I kept on telling her that I have not seen her for 7 years. Olivia says she does not mind me meeting her, but I should have told her that we were together. I volunteered to show her all my phone records during that time, but they only go back to 3 years on my carrier. I'm confused how these photos can even exist when I never met her. They're definitely photos from when I was with Olivia, as I look more muscular in these pictures and also have tattoos that I did not have back then. I even told her she can call my friends and family and ask about the trip, but she said that she has all the photos of my trip and my friends and family will cover for me. Can someone please help me what I can do with this case? I need to convince Olivia this is all fake, but she's just angry with me and giving me silent treatment. I swear that I did not meet Jess during that trip, and I'm caught up with this mess without my fault. So, he has a little mini update here, but you can see this whole thing. His wife is believing this girl she barely knows over him. And this Jessica girl very skillfully is manipulating her, toying with her emotions, all that. This guy knew she's trouble. That's why he said, I don't want you hanging out with her. And still, he should have laid down the law with her or done the old, pretty much, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do if you continue hanging out with her. Now, he also says, a lot of people are messaging me in the DMs offering to review the picture, and I appreciate your help. I'm not comfortable sharing the fake photos online with strangers. I'm going to have an acquaintance who is a photographer look at them today. I had 2 people who are digital artists look at them so far, and both of them told me they cannot identify anything wrong with the photos. Also, another thing I learned after talking to my friend yesterday was the music concert venue from the pictures was a park near my parents' suburb, and I did indeed go there with a friend for Christmas tree event. He also confirmed to my wife that he was with me the whole time and we never met Jess there. He also shared 2 photos from his camera roll that showed me wearing a different t-shirt from the photo that Jess shared. My mom confirmed that the gym photo was taken in an exercise room at the Y my parents go to. My mom reminded me that I did use their guest pass during that trip. I have no idea what is going on, to be honest. So there you go. That's where this wraps up here for the moment. But anyhow, look, you cannot have a marriage without trust, and there's clearly no trust here. And at this point, if I'm this guy, I say if this Olivia, his wife, doesn't trust him and she's taking the side of Jess, it's time to call it quits. Because this is a major problem. I have no tolerance for bullshit. And he has said everything he had to say, and still, she's not believing him. If I were him, I'd go to an attorney, find out your options. You'll be married 2 years. Can't be that bad in terms of the hit you're going to take. And even then, it's worth it. A lot of guys will be like, SSM, you're too quick to divorce the chick. Well, guess what? I'm 46 years old. I've been around the block. More of the block than you guys even freaking know here. And I see how these things go. And this guy does not need this drama and bullshit in his life. And this Jessica, some can say, well, that means Jessica wins. Fine. Whatever. But as the saying goes, the only winning move is not to play. But we can go on that whole other thing later here. But if this guy has to do one last-ditch effort here, then fine. He can say to her, look, she is my ex. It ended badly. She's trying to put a wedge between us. It's no accident that she came into our lives. She obviously stalked me, found out who you were, reached out to you, is toying with your emotions. She's a fucking graphic designer. She's found a way to fiddle with these things. None of this is accurate. And if you don't believe me, we're going our separate ways. That's about as much as I would give her. And if she doesn't go for it, then that's that. But I'd be careful because probably eventually she'll realize that this Jessica chick is full of shit and come begging back for a second chance. You don't need this stuff. And I'd also say about a restraining order with Jess, although that might be hard to get if he doesn't have more evidence going on here. But there you go, guys. The crazy's being crazy. And these gals will deliberately try to screw up a relationship if you're happy because they're fucking so pissed off and scorned by you breaking up with them. And they have every right to break up with her. So there you go. Now, a few comments before I wrap this up. One guy says here, what in the Twilight Zone is going on here? Jess is a freelance artist and a graphic designer. Has your wife not heard of Photoshop? Olivia is really naive to believe Jess has good intentions here. I suggest you remove Jess from your life immediately. You and your wife need to focus on your relationship. Jess knows exactly how to drive a wedge between you two, using your wife's longing for friends, being naive, and kindness against her. This is only going to spiral more if Jess continues to be in your lives. I'd also be more upset with Olivia for believing your friend over your ex-husband. And he responds, I tried to convince my wife it might be photoshopped. My wife wants to believe me, but after watching the photos and checking every possible thing, she does not trust me anymore. I also try to find any inconsistencies in the photos that might make it seem that way. However, everything looks just right. Even the letters and my tattoos on my arm look correct in one of the pictures from the gym where I'm in workout clothes. So right there, he says flat out she just doesn't want to believe him. She doesn't trust him anymore. Well, this is not going to work. Okay then, it's over. That's what the point I made earlier when I said talk to a lawyer, find out your options. It's not worth it anymore. Life is too fucking short. And this guy's probably around 31 years old. His prime is just beginning here. Another one. This guy says here, I just found a hole in her story, as in Jessica's. I already made a comment, but just remembered an inconsistency. If you've been seeing her when you came back, why would she have apologized at the dinner for her behavior at the last months of your relationship? Wouldn't that already been discussed? If you guys have met up platonic for years, then I would expect you guys to have already talked it out. The behavior during dinner sounds like you guys hadn't spoken since the breakup. Exactly. And the OP responds, good catch. I'm also trying to find any other evidence that contradicts the photos. Hopefully something comes up. Right, because he said after he saw her after all those years, she apologized for everything that happened. If he had seen her years before, she wouldn't be apologizing to him, which proves this is bullshit. Last one. This guy says, look, if your wife is willing to believe Jess after everything she has done, then you are honestly better off without her. Olivia's desperate need for friendship is blinding her to what is going on. This would honestly be a deal breaker for me. What's Jess going to accuse you of next? False abuse accusations? Olivia is not going to have your back. This isn't something therapy is going to fix. Your wife trusts your psycho ex over you. Their relationship is already done. Protect yourself and move on from both of them. I would also consider speaking to the police about harassment from Jess, because I think this might get worse before it gets better. Possibly even hire someone to confirm edited photos. There you go. Yeah, Jess is driving a wedge and pulling all these things. This is like a movie. But I don't see anything right now that can prove anything that can probably legally get him a restraining order against Jess as of yet. But she's a problem. And you know it's only going to escalate until next thing you know it's claims of him doing something awful that I can't mention here on YouTube. So anyway, guys, there's a crazy one about the stalkers. Be careful who you get involved with. And when you break up with them, be careful what can happen. Because, again, women can't take rejection. They take it to a whole new level of messing with them emotionally and mentally than guys do. Let me tell you here. It's either become obsessed with them because you want them back or obsessed with ruining them. And there you go. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.